Wow. And in the nick of time, these two guys show up. I can't believe it. It's good for another week. And you guys, y'all missed it. I saw it because, obviously we log in and check all this stuff prior to coming in. But these two were not ready to go live. And I said, I pulled who is it? Matt Lauer? Who was it? No, it wasn't Matt Lauer. Who was it? It was like, fuck it. We'll do it live.
Shit, who was that? Fox News dude.
Yeah.
Oh, Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly. I pulled a fucking Bill O'Reilly, but you know what? The fucking intro finished, and you guys sat down, and welcome back. The soundboard is back and in business. I took some time. I've been on vacation this week, hence the beard-ish stubble. I won't call it a beard. Only TJ has a beard on this show. Yeah, I figured out what was wrong with my settings. I downloaded some new software to fix my my tuning and all that stuff. And soundboard is back and better than ever. But TJ's got a biography coming out soon, and it's called
I'm a grown man. I have a beard.
He was a grown man. He had a beard. That's the name of TJ's biography. Look for it. Store shelves everywhere. We're in a little bit of a battle with Barnes and Noble. Barnes is okay, but that Noble is a vindictive prick.
Yeah, well, I mean, technically, the Bible, story of Jesus. Just saying.
I wonder if they sell that at Barnes and Noble. Anyway, I digress.
Bible.
Yeah,
I would assume. Yeah, it's the most sold book ever in history, right?
What section is it in?
It's in the fiction.
Fiction.
Oh, smite him. Smite his ass right now.
Did he just say fiction?
He just said fiction. Get him.
Jesus.
Get him now.
The Old Testament's in there, guy. Your people's book.
Did you ever see what movie was it where the person's like selling a Bible and they're like, it's an authentic Bible. It's signed by Jesus, and it says like Jesus was here. Was it The Simpsons? I think it was The Simpsons that did that. Jesus was here on the cover of the like inside the book.
I can't decide whether or not this flame is here to represent the Holy Spirit or where Anthony's going at the end of all this, because he said the Bible belongs in the fiction. Whatever. I'm not gonna get a
joke. Everyone, take it easy.
Listen, if he could have made a worse joke and said the children's section, because that's where the priests hang out, but whatever.
Oh, TJ, me and TJ can hang out now together.
I hope the beer is hot where you guys are going.
Ireland?
Yeah, that's how they drink into Great Britain. It'll be fine. Might as well be hell, right? We're in Great Britain. Beans and like,
oh my god,
bread.
On something caught Nick's eye. There's either a fly in the room or
it's coming for you guys.
What movie was it from where he's like, you steal the Bible, you go to hell?
That's a movie?
I'm pretty sure.
What movie?
Called The Ten Commandments.
No. Like they're taking shit out of the room, and he yells at him. He's like, dude, if you steal the Bible, you go to hell.
Oh, I don't know.
And he makes him put it back.
It's a movie like some people robbing stuff, right?
I forget.
Yeah, look it up.
All right. I move on with my life from this conversation.
We digress.
As I'm getting a phone call from Missouri on my phone. I'm sure it's harassment of some sort.
No, that's Paynes Valley calling us back. We try to book a tea time for this weekend.
Yeah.
So.
You just say Penis Valley?
Paynes Valley.
Sure you did.
I mean, you got penis on the mind, apparently.
Nick, what happened to the new background? You didn't upload it?
I
said it
I
looked like
was
crap.
going to. I was
told me I
going
suck.
to, and it did not look up to par. I showed it to TJ, and he concurred. So I don't know why he's sitting here making it look like he's a fucking victim. But you know, that's what liberals do. So
Well,
you know.
hopefully by next
Wow.
hopefully by next week. For one last time. Ziggy, the man show over here. The chicks.
Sex sells, gentlemen. Sex sells. Do you think people want to click into our show to look at fucking me or Rook? Maybe TJ, but definitely not me or Rook.
It's not me.
I mean, honestly, if I was scrolling by and I saw those pictures, I'd be like, huh, what's this show about?
They look smart.
Definitely looks like they want to talk about shit that I want to listen to.
I love it. They have the American flag. It's such an American thing. Just naked women talking sports.
They're not naked. They're half naked.
Half naked women. Half naked women talking sports.
Naked enough to leave you a little curiosity. I want you to know that I said naked 3 times, and a viewer popped up. So
nice.
Wow.
That's what happens when you say. The question is, right now, if you give them the old reverse job, right? And these women were covered head to toe, but only the naughty bits were exposed. Are they technically naked? Because they'd be like 90% covered up.
Ooh, that's an interesting point. They could put them in burqas. No, are they called burqas? But then you
why did you go burqa? Why not like?
He's anti-religious tonight. He's going after everybody.
You just cut open the part.
Why would you not go like? Why wouldn't you go like if they just had like a fucking neoprene suit on that, except for those areas? Why would you go burqa? That was just a weird place to go.
I don't know.
Next, he's going to be talking about whatever suit they wear in Scientology when you go clear.
I figured if offending one religion, I might as well just go full boat and offend them all.
It's fair. Zoltan.
So big week of sports. Let's recap the last week of sports as I sit here scratching my back. There was a big game on Sunday. I can't recall what it was. It seemed like it was like significant, kind of like
it was like a bowl game, like kind of like a stadium series type of like
yeah. It was like 2
Meadowlands
playing. It was like a 1923 football game where the forward pass was not invented yet.
I mean, for one team, that is absolutely correct. The other team, 240 yards passing and a passing touchdown. But yes, for one team, the forward pass did not exist.
I'm not trying to be bitter, but I have to just check something. I have to help Brandy out with something. So I'll be right back in like 2 seconds.
Conveniently leaving as we were about to shit on the Giants.
Of a bitch. How dare you? All right. We're going to talk about the Jets at least. So the Jets played.
Oh, no. Fuck that. Everybody waits. Now we talk about Rangers because we're not letting them get out of the way that easy. All right. Rangers hockey, West Coast trip, 5-0. 2 overtime wins, but an epic road trip, dude. I don't know. I can't remember the last time the Rangers dominated an away series like that, especially a West Coast trip where, dude, they're playing at all hours of the night. I think I maybe watched in those 5 games, possibly a full period put together.
I was going to say, I watched the period.
Yeah. So just ridiculous times.
We talk about this pretty regularly. They need to outlaw West Coast games start times. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm sorry. Name me the team on the West Coast that has a higher viewership than anybody in the Metro. It doesn't exist.
Maybe the West Coast of Canada for hockey, like Hockey Night Live, Friday Night Hockey, something like that. That's Canada.
How many teams are on West Coast Canada? How many people live in those towns? I guarantee you it's not more than New York. I guarantee you it's not more than Boston.
No, God, no.
It's not more than
Absolutely
Philly.
not.
You know, like our metro areas alone are the entire fucking population of Canada.
Well, yeah, I mean, that can be said. Just think about it like this. California and New York are the 2 hubs of centralized people. So if you get either one of those in, and let's face it, in Canada, there's no really team that everybody rallies around and roots for. There's too many teams. Whereas in New York, when you got hockey, it's Rangers or Islanders. And as we shared last year, a stat came out showing what public viewing on TV, and the New York Rangers own not only the state of New York, but the state of New Jersey, the state of Alaska, and like 2 provinces in Canada. So,
I'm gonna attribute the Rangers having so much of a following in Alaska to Mystery Alaska, one, and two, who is the Spanish kid from Alaska that used to play for us?
Scott Gomez.
There you go. I was gonna say freaking Boone Nieves, but he's from upstate New York. Scott Gomez. I'm gonna attribute a large portion of the persons that are watching hockey, New York Ranger hockey in Canada, to Scott Gomez and Mystery Alaska. Which is a great movie, despite what TJ thinks. But look, the entire population of Canada is 40 million. 11 million people live in the New York metro area alone. Right. So I don't care how many people are following hockey on the west coast of Canada, because the population there just isn't enough. I'm pretty sure Toronto is the largest city in Canada,
that's on the East
and
Coast,
it ain't bigger than New York. So if they're the largest city, then there's no way that New York, that like you're going to get more fans watching hockey if the Ranger game's on at a reasonable hour than you are if the fucking Canadian hockey team on the West Coast is fucking playing at 5 p.m.
Yeah, dude, it's almost like the schedule comes out and it's like, oh, well, we just lost a shit ton of fans. Because the second you see a 9:45 start, or what was it? Was that Calgary game a 10:45 start or some shit like that?
It was a 10:30.
10:30, like
Jesus Christ!
I stayed up. I watched that game.
Did you? Good for you, dude.
The next day,
I wake up at like 4 something in the morning. I can't do it.
That was a good game. That was an Igor won Igor, and like he had the stats. It was like 23 high percentage chances, and then they only scored 1 goal the entire game.
That was the stolen game. But I shout out to Steve Valquette, because I love how he breaks down that and how he puts that out there. I love that dude's, just his overall. I want to say I'm trying to be fancy about the word, but just his outlook, his hockey IQ, his outlook on the game, and how he is able to very easily let laymen like us perceive it in a stats centric kind of way. Oh, look, I know numbers too.
First of all, Steve Valquette might be the biggest goalie in the history of hockey.
He's a giant man.
He's a fucking huge guy. Like, who makes a 6'6" goalie?
Sir,
why are you that big? Sir, why are you that big?
Dude,
I don't understand it. Like, I'm not mad at Steve, because I love Steve. Steven Valquette is a great man, all right? And he's hilarious. And I love his Twitter account. If you're not following Steve Valquette on Twitter, you need to. Right?
Valley Views, right?
Say that again?
Valley Views.
Yes.
Yes. If you're not following Steve Valquette, you need to follow him ASAP.
Yeah.
So listen,
after you follow us at Score Addicts Pod,
the Rangers did their job, right? They do it up. That shutout by Jonathan Quick was tremendous. Getting exactly what you want to get out of a veteran like that, and giving Igor some time to rest. But in reality, we're not resting Igor at all, because he's just the hot hand. He's on fire, and it's almost impossible to do that as Shesterkin is on the ice right now, which is never a good sign. Rangers are tied 1-1 with the Hurricanes, so this is a big game, big proving ground game. Going to set the tone for how the Rangers are going to go in through the rest of the season, because not that West Coast trip wasn't a challenge, but even when we played the Oilers, Connor McDavid not there, 3-0 shutout win. This in your own coast, the right coast, if you will, and a team that you're undoubtedly going to see in the playoffs this year, unless something crazy happens. So Igor getting checked out by the staff.
That's not good.
His knee. Try to look at this real quick. Sorry for the lull.
All right, he got hit in the giblets.
Oh, Schneider bodies somebody into Igor. I can't.
Looks like he took a stick to the giblets.
Oof.
But he should have a cup on. But I'll let you know something right now, ladies and gentlemen. I used to play catcher in high school, baseball, obviously.
And in the bedroom.
Your cup,
I knew the joke was coming.
your jock strap, your cup, whatever you want to talk. It only protects you from head-on collisions. It doesn't protect you from underneath. There's
no uppercut protection.
Yeah.
So if something gets you from underneath, like for instance, a curveball that hits the dirt directly underneath you and it bounces up and gets you, it hits the cup and then it hits your giblets and the jewels get snatched a
Dude,
smidge.
another high stick fucking missed by these refs. I'm sorry. But that's the third one in about 4 minutes of play.
He's
We're
actually
only 2
bleeding
minutes
right
in.
now.
Yeah, we're only 2 minutes into the second period, and the refs missed 2 high sticks in the last minute of play in the first period, and then Trocheck right in front of the ref in the face-off dot catches a stick, a little wood to the face, like he's a friggin' woodchuck, chewing on it or some shit like that, right in the teeth, and he's yelling at the ref, and the ref is clearly blind. Like, this is the shit when we say,
what?
this is the shit that we talk about when we say the Rangers screw job, because that couldn't have been more obvious, and it's just ridiculous. But whatever. I digress.
Shout out to my man Dave Coulier. Mr.
Rangers do their job, dude. 5 wins in a row. Right now, they're tied 1-1 with Carolina. Trocheck's pissed. Hopefully, that turns into some angry face action. But Rangers are on a roll right now. Everybody's playing pretty damn solid. You're getting a lot of goals from where they need to be coming from. Mika Zibanejad. Panarin's been hot right now.
How much that hurt?
Dude, the ridiculous shot by Snyder that we talked about last week, top corner shot as he stepped over the blue line. You get some action from Jonathan Quick, which is always tremendous. And even like people like Capo Caco and Heedle and Lafreniere just making it known that they're here to play in a big-time way. So I love everything the Rangers are doing. I love how they're adapting to Laviolette's system, how they're clogging up the middle. The power play got going in a couple of those games. Right now, they're 1 for 3 tonight, or 1 for 4. Get the 1 goal coming off the power play. But those are all things that you want to see from a team that's obviously primed and ready to get back into the playoffs and make another run. So I'm happy with the way the Rangers are going right now. I wouldn't say I'm over the moon impressed, but they're doing exactly what they need to do and putting themselves in a position to win. So that's all you really need to say. They're winning. Everybody's up and at them and scoring goals and getting the offensive, juices flowing. The passes are crisp and hard. The power play at times a little too much passing, but listen, it wouldn't be the Rangers if somebody wasn't screaming, shoot the fucking puck in the MSG, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Laffy's playing pretty well so far. I know Mika started a little slow. He got a couple goals recently. He got the game winner recently in overtime. I was going to say, though, like, they're 7-2, and, like, you got 5 wins in the road. Like, you're going to have to win games on the road, and to get them done early on in the season is pretty impressive. And you got to find wins somewhere along the schedule. You have the teams that, you're going to beat, and then have teams you may not beat. But you need to find those games sometimes to just steal them. And the Calgary one was one of them, as we were talking about. So I think getting wins early, getting some points early is always positive for any team. And then moving on forward to make the playoffs at that point.
Yeah.
I love hockey. I like watching hockey. I hate when hockey's on during our show, because then you watch the recap of our show and I'm like this. Like JD and Scrubs just thinking about shit because the TV is right here. And I can't help but look to see what the hell is happening. But I would like to see
TJ, because he's not in the garage. Usually when TJ's in the garage, the game's behind him, and he's always
he watches it on the screen, like from behind him. Like he's just
today he can't. He's got to watch. He's going like this.
But I would like to see some more from Kako. I haven't seen what I want to see from him. He's not playing badly, but I want to see some points. Laffy's scoring some good points. TJ, how much did it hurt for you to give props to Panarin? That must have fucking sucked.
Not at all, dude. Not at all. Listen, every Ranger fan feels the exact same way about Artemi Panarin. And that he brings it all in the regular season and then becomes a ghost in the playoffs. Except that one big goal that he had in the Penguin series, which, again, was a huge goal. But he's the type of player that in a 7-game series is going to need to have 6 or 7 goals. It's just the deal. That's what you're expecting out of him. And when you have 2 sets of playoffs in a row that he is just utterly anemic offensively, and the goals are coming from all over the place, that's not how you win a playoff series. Listen, it's over. It's done with. That's in the past. We're looking forward to the here and now and the future. And if Panarin can do what he does in the regular season and carry that over into the postseason, we're going to be in a great position to win. That's it. It's that easy. Outscore the opponent. That's what we're going to do. Live in the now.
Maybe shaving off his hair, that's like a positive. Like he'll change the postseason, blues.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. The last time I saw somebody's head look like that bold, they were positive, but it wasn't a good thing.
Wow. Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Boo
Is
that,
that
man.
below the belt?
Yeah, that was.
All right, next topic.
I'm sorry.
This last thing before we go off, the Rangers obviously on a tear. Little conversations about possibly bringing back Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
He is on the road to recovery, and there are conversations about him potentially coming back to the Rangers for another I don't know what to call it, swan song.
Listen, it depends on what money you can move around. I mean, the Rangers are already stuck with two dudes that are past their prime in Barker Goudreau and Blake Wheeler. The Blake Wheeler thing was you're figuring you see if you can get last little bit of pizzazz out of the guy. He had a good year last year too. But 37 years old, it's kind of like what were you really expecting? But it seems like the rumor mill is coming from Patrick Kane's camp, almost that he would like to be in New York. So that's a good thing. That's a good sign because a player that has an idea of where they want to be, and if the Rangers are going to do what they're doing now and put themselves in the upper tier, let's say of the playoff hunt, going towards the All-Star break and then the trade deadline. That's it. Like if the Rangers can keep it up and put themselves there, why wouldn't Kane want to come here? It's just the money issue, right? But there's ways around that. As we know, let's follow what Tampa Bay did. Oh, he retired and then he came back, and then we can go $10 million over the cap. That's not weird.
But I think that's all for hockey at the moment. And word from our sponsor.
Fantasy Sports Corp and Underdog Fantasy have teamed up to start your fantasy season off in the win column with Best Ball. What is Best Ball? It's quite simply the easiest way to win. No team management, no trades, no waivers. It's their biggest contest ever, and it has only gotten bigger. You simply have to sit and win. You don't even have to set your lineup. Always get your best score every week. Just enter a contest, draft your team, and Underdog will do the rest. What could make this even better? How about free money, up to $100 using our exclusive promo code? Go online now and use the promo code Scoreboards to double your deposit up to $100. You tell them Gingerbread sent you. Good girl.
So yesterday was the final game of the World Series for 2023, and congratulations to the Texas Rangers on their first World Series championship. I will always appreciate anybody who beats those sons of bitches from Arizona. I don't even know why Arizona has a baseball. And Houston. Listen, I don't really get mad about Houston because they're dirty cheaters and everybody in baseball knows about it. And I know that at some point in the very near future, probably when Altuve retires, he's on the wrong side of 30 anyway, they're not going to have fans anymore. Like, that's Texas baseball for you. Like, I'm not really worried about them. But I got beef with Arizona for the 2001 World Series. I will always have beef with Arizona over that. We needed to win that so badly, but I'm not going to live in the past. We're living in the now. I did want to point out one quick thing about the Texas Rangers because I don't have much to say about the Texas Rangers. This is a New York broadcast. Bruce Bochy, the manager of the Texas Rangers, I saw somebody, Gary Gaetti on Twitter said something about an old school manager getting a World Series win. What a shock. Not one of these new school jabroni like nerds that never played and knows nothing about the sport other than what the stat sheet tells them. To which somebody said, well, the Rangers have a very big and robust analytics department. And I read the article that the person posted. And ultimately the article said that Bochy doesn't turn away information. If you want to give him information, then we can go over information. We give him all the information he could possibly need, right? And here's the most important part. What he does with that information is up to him. And unfortunately for us as Yankee fans, that is not the case with the Yankees, nor is that the case with the Mets. It doesn't seem, by the way Buck Showalter did his post-game interviews this year and his overall demeanor throughout the season. It does not seem like the Mets are run that way either.
No.
So I would also agree that information is great. Information is always going to be a positive. What you do with that information is what is the difference between success and failure. I will also say that when you show advanced statistics to players, right, and you tell them that this group of these stats, right, these new stats are the only ones that matter, and the old stats, the entertaining stats, the stats that lead to these stats, right? Because we have our old school traditional, you're going to have walks, hits, average, strikeouts, home runs, RBIs, on-base percentage, and slugging percentage are your old stats, right? Then you have what WOBX, Outer Banks, WAR, what is it good for, and all the newfangled, exit velocity, all that stuff, right? That's the new advanced metrics, right? When you start sacrificing the old stuff to beget the new stuff, that's when you end up with Joey Gallo. Now, if you focus on the old school stuff, right, and add a little twist to it, that's when you get a successful batting average with high RBI percentages and runs scored. And then, whoa, oh my God, your WAR increases because one cannot go up without this fake number, right? It's an arbitrary fake number created by Sabermetrics. That number is fake. It only represents somebody's opinion about what you're doing here. So like exit velocity and all that shit, this whole like dumping the barrel and one knee down catching style, all this stuff, right? People are working toward achieving just those things. You see a lot of uppercut swings. You're not seeing hard line drives. And the reason for that is they're trying to beget a higher exit velocity and launch angle, right? But if you just tried to hit the fucking ball and hit a line drive, you'd probably end up with a higher velocity and launch angle just by default. That's just the nature of the game. Because I'll tell you right now, a double in the gap or a sac fly to the warning track are 10 times better than a pop up to second base because you're trying to hit a 35-degree launch angle.
Dude, 10 bloop singles in a row gets you a 6-0 lead, right?
That's a fucking fact. That is a fucking fact.
That's true.
But I'm not here to poo-poo on advanced stats. I just wanted to point that out that Bruce Bochy takes in all the information and decides what's valuable because that's what a manager does.
Well, speaking about taking in information and deciding what's valuable, I gotta say, in this shitty, super liberal New York City that we live in, the only thing I keep seeing is how, the Texas Rangers is the only team that doesn't celebrate Pride Night. Like, okay. And what does that have to do with playing baseball?
I'm seeing this.
Dude, it's popping up. It's on Twitter. I saw it in the newspaper today.
The algorithm is definitely targeting you, bro.
It just doesn't make sense because what the fuck does it have to do with baseball? Like, who cares?
It gets you mad when you see Pride Night. It gets you upset.
It doesn't get me mad at all.
You start combating people on Twitter, so Twitter fucking sends them your way, bro.
It doesn't make me mad at all. What makes me mad is putting any onus on something that has nothing to do with the sport that you're watching. Like, I'm an Irish dude. If they had Irish Pride Night, would that make me go or not go to a game? Not at all. I don't care.
It absolutely would. If they were giving out Clover fucking Yankee hats, you'd be like, oh, I got to get one of those.
Wouldn't give a shit.
You're such a liar.
Wouldn't
You
care
lie.
less.
You lie like a
Couldn't care
rug.
less.
You mean to
But
tell
it was
me
funny-
you could get a Yankee jersey that had a fucking NY filled with shamrocks? You wouldn't be like, I need to get that. And they only give it at the stadium on the game that they're playing.
No, I don't care about crap like that.
Tell me you don't have a shamrock tattooed on you anywhere on your body.
That's different.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What does it have to do with, like, I'm not going to run to the stadium because they're giving out fucking Shamrock t-shirts. Like, McDonald's has a Shamrock shake every year in March. I don't get a single one.
Then are you really Irish?
Yeah.
Are you sure? It doesn't seem like it.
I didn't get a Grimace shake. Doesn't mean I'm not a purple people eater. Come on.
Your cousin definitely got a Grimace shake.
Might have.
But I digress.
Whatever. It's just the nonsense that the media focuses on is fucking ridiculous. It's baseball. They won the World Series. They outplayed everybody else in the league. I don't give a shit if they had fucking pierogi night or not. Actually, if they had dollar beer night, I'd probably be more apt to go. But
I might go to pierogi night. That sounds kind of awesome, actually.
pierogi night sounds like a weaponized pasta, potato-filled.
What is that
Polish hate
behind
night?
you? What is
Dog,
that
isn't
movie?
it?
Where?
It's a dog.
There's a dog behind you. Whose dog is that? Whose dog is that?
My dog.
No, it's not. Your dog's not that small.
You can just see the tail. That's why.
That's Daisy?
Yeah. Come here, Daisy. Up. Up.
I thought that was like a black Jack Russell Terrier or something.
No, because you just see her tail.
She just blends in the couch, so you can't tell her apart.
What I do want to say, though, about the Texas Rangers is that was one fast turnaround. 100 losses 2 years ago, 98 last year. This year, World Series champions. They fought well all year long. They almost won the division, which actually we were talking about this earlier. It might actually hurt them if they won the division because they would have had that time off.
Right.
Like the Houston Astros did. Well, the Houston Astros had it off, but obviously lost the ALCS. But a lot of the teams that had the time off got swept in the or lost. Like they only won one game out of all those teams.
I'm extremely against the time off. I don't think it helps in baseball. This isn't football. This isn't.
No, it doesn't help at all. I agree.
It's not a high collision sport where you need to rest. It's not. Your arms are going to be rested regardless. That's you're going to end your season if you're far enough ahead in the lead for your division. You're going to rest the arms that need to be rested anyway.
Yeah,
There's definitely something to be said about staying loose and staying in the zone. And I couldn't sit here and tell you or figure out a stat central way of telling you what the greatest time off is, like to maximize staying in that hot streak and resting versus being too much. But I think we can all agree if you win the division, that length of time 110% hurts you more than helps you.
Yeah. And listen, I mean, Jordan Montgomery, World Series champion now.
I was just going to say congratulations to Jordan Montgomery.
According to Brian Cashman, he couldn't crack the Yankees playoff rotation, but now he's a World Series champion. So
the guy, what did he pitch to? Like a 3.30 ERA this year?
He had he wasn't Texas the whole year. He went there halfway because they traded for him from St. Louis, but he had a very good ERA. He was pitching awesome in the postseason too. He had one bad game, which wasn't even a bad game. I think he gave it like 3 runs, which nowadays is absolutely nothing. But they ended up losing the game that he pitched, the only game he pitched in the World Series. But Nathan Eovaldi is number one.
Badly. I don't feel like he pitched badly in that game.
He didn't pitch badly. That's why I said it's just he lost that game. He gave up 3 runs, and that's about it. But like I said, 3 runs is nothing. You pitch seven innings, 3 runs is not a bad outing. But he pitched well. Aroldis Chapman is now part of not one. I'm just saying it's actually kind of crazy. He's actually part of not one but 2 teams that ended the longest droughts in Major League Baseball. He won with the Cubs, the 102-year drought, and now he ended this drought, which is the one of the longest because they had never won a World Series. So it's kind of crazy on both those teams.
I think there's only 4 teams left that have not won a World Series. I think it's 4 or 5. The Brewers, the Rockies, the Rays, and I think the Padres.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. And then Corey Seager.
The Padres are on par with Texas. I think they both got brought in at the same time.
Right?
I think. I could be wrong.
And then Corey Seager, I bet on Adolis Garcia to become the MVP.
Adolis?
Yeah, Dallas. Is that him? Okay. Adolis Garcia to become the MVP. And he got hurt, but he was having a good series until he got hurt. But Corey Seager becomes the second position player to win more than 1 World Series MVPs. Does anyone know who the first one is?
Yeah, it's Reggie Jackson.
There you go.
We don't talk about him because he plays for the fucking Astros. Yeah. Fuck Reggie. Yeah. I'm booing Reggie too. Fuck it. Fuck Reggie. Anyway, so Hot Stove officially starts today, right? The day after the World Series, or actually the minute after the World Series, free agency starts, right? And we learned that when A-Rod announced that he was opting out of his contract as I want to say as the Phillies won the World Series or something like that. And everybody was like, he stole their thunder. I'm like, really? So he's more important than an entire franchise and the sport's premier championship event. I was like, you people are so fucking like sad. I mean, Philly is that sad, but I digress. So the Yankees optioned some guys. They outrighted them and they'll be free agents. Herman being one of them who had a really great, talk about an up and down year. The man was like suspended for sticky stuff, threw a perfect game, and then went into rehab all in one season. It's like the craziest turn of events I've ever heard in my life.
He gave up 10 runs the outing before the perfect game too, which is crazy.
That sounds like me. I threw back-to-back one hitters and then proceeded to give up like 11 runs and 3 homers.
Wasn't his perfect game against Texas? Or that was Corey Kluber.
Corey Kluber threw it against
Texas,
I believe.
Oh, okay.
But
I don't know why I thought. Who did he throw?
I want to say he threw his perfect game against Minnesota.
No, it was the A's because I remember it was
that's right, Oakland, and somebody said it was hapless. They were like, "Oh, it's the A's, it doesn't count."
Yeah,
I was like, no, combos don't count. Fucking combos don't count. Okay,
and it happened at like 12:30 at night because it was West Coast.
Right.
But so who are you guys looking for in free agency? Who do you want the Yankees to go and get during free agency? I'm not talking about trades that may or may not happen, but before we get into that real quick, I would like to say for like the San Diego Padres decided to take out a $50 million loan to try to make payroll. I don't know what the APR financing is on that loan, but that is kind of sad and pathetic. Expect them to be sellers at some point throughout the offseason because apparently they can't keep the lights on over there in San Diego, which of course we all know is Spanish for a whale's vagina. But who do you guys want to see the Yankees go for in free agency? Corey Seager is a free agent.
Is he really? He only signed for 3 years there?
I believe he is a free agent. That is one of the words on the street.
I guess maybe as an opt-out. I don't know. I don't want to say like they need to get him because he is injured, but like I want to see the Yankees just be in on Ohtani. Just to like look what because like his value may have gone down because he's hurt and he has a Tommy John surgery. Like, is there a way we could get him to New York? I know they're looking at. Are you considering overseas players, Nick, or are you just about?
You know what? I'm a liar. It's Cody Bellinger. Is a free
Cody Bellinger is. That's
I know it's a relative of somebody. Corey Seager is the brother of the other Seager.
Bob Seager?
Kyle Seager.
Kyle
Seager retired.
Thinking about night moves.
It's Bob Uecker.
Just go to random names.
I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of the Shohei Ohtani. I don't think bringing him here does anything for us. I really don't.
My concern with Shohei Ohtani going to the Yankees is the need for a 6-man rotation and how that affects everybody else in the rotation. Because if I'm Garrett Cole and I am potentially and possibly the Cy Young Award winner, then why am I accommodating for this guy? Like, I'm the best pitcher in the league.
Yeah.
I'm more simple. It's just the fucking guy doesn't show up in big games, especially against the Yankees. So how is he going to handle the fans and the pressure of New York City? I don't think he can. I really don't. I honestly think he's in his little bubble over there, just in quiet little nobody gives a shit town about baseball. It is what it is.
No, people care about baseball when you play for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. Not the Angels.
I would say Cody Bellinger could be good. You know, put him in the outfield. Lefty bat, which is obviously everyone always says Yankees need a lefty bat.
And I will say, by the way, it's so funny. I think Judge hits the most home runs into the right field season. He's right-handed.
Yeah.
I will say international free agents also count. So right now, Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Yeah, I was gonna say Yamamoto is the other one that they should be in on.
Blake Snell's a free agent.
You know who knows a free agent? The guy who just won a World Series, Jordan Montgomery. You know, the Yankees had a guy like that in their organization. They probably shouldn't let him go, especially if hypothetically, you traded him for someone who was injured and couldn't play for 2 months. That's like a dumb move. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yep, I hear you.
Yankees need to clean house. If the Yankees did want to do themselves a favor, just get rid of Boone and Cashman right now. Don't make any moves in the offseason, bringing in people that know what the fuck they're doing. Bring in a baseball mind. That's all you got to do. Bring in somebody. Bring in Buck Showalter. I don't fucking care anymore. Bring in Buck Showalter and let him run the team how a real manager would run a team. Let him use the eye litmus test and a feel for the game and baseball IQ, because it's just boring fucking baseball in the Bronx. It really is. It's boring. It's not exciting. Nobody gives a shit. It's not baseball.
It's not like this season. Like usually, like if the Yankees have a bad a season, like they're not playing well, but it's still like fun to watch. Like this season, even when they won, it was like miserable to watch. So it was like
Yeah.
a 2-1, 3-1.
They're not a team,
It
dude.
was
4-5. Like,
you know what it was? It was 6 innings of 1 home run
Yeah.
and strikeouts, and that's not entertaining to watch. It's I'll watch the highlights because that's you only got 3 hits throughout the game and you struck out 15 times. Nobody wants to watch that.
They're not a
Nobody
team.
wants to watch
It's a collection of guys, bro.
strikeouts and 3 home runs a game. Nobody wants to watch that. It's boring.
Yeah.
You look at them
In a time where 1 knee down, and it's now easier. And when I say 1 knee down for non-baseball folks, catchers don't catch like they used to with in a squat position. They catch now in a lazy position to steal strikes with 1 knee down on the ground and in a weird like I don't even know what to call it. There's a child of the corn walking behind TJ.
It's like this, right?
Yes, that's what it looks like. 1 knee is down, and then the other
leg is
knee
out.
is out off to the side. Hello, how you doing? A, makes it harder to block pitches in the dirt, and B, you can't throw out anybody at second base with 1 knee in the ground. You just can't. So, and then on top of the pitch clock and the bases being closer together and pickoff attempts being limited, stolen bases went up this year for everybody but the Yankees. The Yankees had arguably the same amount of stolen bases because only like 2 guys on the entire team stole bases throughout the season. So I'm just kind of flabbergasted at the whole thing. Like, I agree with TJ. Go back to an old school mindset. Sports is one of those. It's one of those environments where you make advancements, people catch up, and then you change your advancements, and it's the same thing, right? We see it in football a lot, and we're about to get to that right now. In football, you see defenses change to 3-4, 4-3. The offense then catches up, and then the defense has to change. So when we were younger, there were a lot of 4-3 defenses, right? 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers. As we got older, right, and we became in our 20s, everybody switched to a 3-4 because one team got great at 3-4 defenses. I'm talking about the Steelers. And then all of a sudden, everybody followed suit. And then everybody's sitting there talking about 3-4 defenses. And now we're going back to 4-3 defenses.
Yeah. I would like to say just about baseball again, like the Yankees, the problem isn't the reason why I want Cashman and the whole analytics and scouting department gone is because I'm tired of seeing these teams. You look at the Diamondbacks, they had 2 young rookies. Kid could have been I think the kid was in Purdue. Like he forego his senior year to come play Major League Baseball. He's contributing to a championship team almost. They won the National League Championship. Alec Thomas hits a game-tying home run against the Phillies. You have Corbin Carroll carrying a team the entire year. I'm sick of seeing other teams having exciting young players, and the Yankees have Anthony Volpe, who's nice, but like all those young talent they claimed they had just have never panned out. And I'm tired of seeing it because the Yankees just don't know how to either develop talent or they don't know how to scout it right. And there's something going on with that front office that needs to be fixed in order for this team to get better.
And that runs out of time for baseball. We're moving on. Go Big Blue.
Wait.
Go Big Blue.
Before we go on, do you agree with me though? When it comes to young talent, Yankees don't know what they're doing, scouting and
I think that there's a small there's confusion about what should be done with.
He's
young
literally
talent.
trying to drag ass so he doesn't have to fucking talk about his disgusting
that's
Giants, and you're falling for it.
I'm just saying, no, I'm asking, do you agree with me though?
They don't know how to use the fucking talent that they put on the field at a major league level. You want them to learn how to use their minor league talent?
When I was a kid, I had a coach that tried to make everybody on our pitching staff throw the same 4 pitches. Not everybody's built to throw the same 4 pitches, but the Yankees try to make everybody play the same exact way. It doesn't work that way. Cookie cutter does not work, and not in baseball, not in any sport. But we digress. We move on to football, where the New York Jets beat the lowly New York Giants, and Giants fans everywhere are just completely destroyed because they're like, you beat a 3rd-string quarterback. Congratulations, you beat Mike DeVito. But somehow will pound their chests about Dexter Lawrence beating up on our practice squad center, who doesn't even play center.
It's not Mike DeVito. It's Tommy DeVito.
Who's Mike DeVito? Mike DeVito used to play defensive tackle for the Jets.
You said Mike DeVito.
Mike DeVito, he was actually a good player.
First of all, can I just say something? Because I know you keep saying Giants fans say this, Giants fans say this. First of all, did I do this? I lost fair and square. I didn't complain about the refs. I didn't complain about the missing the offsides. on Kayvon. And he complained that
he was offsides.
He wasn't. He was onside.
He was. He posted a video of it, and then somebody freeze framed it. The ball's not moved, and his arm is on the line of scrimmage. That is offsides.
And then I'm not complaining about it though. I'm not complaining. I said I'm not complaining.
You just sat here and said he wasn't offside when he clearly was.
I'm saying I'm not complaining about that call. And then I'm not complaining about the fact that the guy lined up over the long snapper the wrong way, which
that's not illegal either. That's not illegal either.
That's illegal too. But I'm not going to complain about it, guys. I'm not going to complain about Tommy DeVito being the quarterback and not being able to pass. I would say the Jets won. The Giants lost that game. The Giants gave it away. They had it in their hands. They gave it away. It's ugly. It's terrible. They trade Leonard Williams. The season.
Giants are not complaining about the right things. Why?
Even their coaches are complaining about shit.
But why are Giant fans not bitching about Daboll being a fucking moron? That's a fact. Why are you kicking a 46-yard field goal, which is not even going to bring you to a tie game? You're still down by 1 in fucking the Meadowlands wind, a driving rain, 46 yards for the fucking kicker that's been all year, and then finally hit the fucking rock bottom. Like, you needed 1 yard, and Saquon was busting through and getting 2 or 3 every carry. Why? Sackless. Absolutely sackless. The Jets weren't moving the ball. So even if you put them on their own 40 fucking yard line or 36 yard line or wherever, they're probably not getting the ball past the 50 at that point in the game because they just weren't moving it. Why would you not stretch for a 1 yard right there?
You're talking
the 3
about
points mean nothing. Yes, earlier in the game. Earlier in the game. Yes.
Yeah.
That field goal meant nothing. Absolutely nothing. There was so much time left on the game, and everybody that's you get points when you can get points. No, you look at the fucking situation. That's such a stat thing to say. The situation was dictating that the Giants are running the ball downhill the entire time up until then. You needed 1 yard to gain, so 46 yards through wind and fucking rain is easier to gain than 1 yard with your elite running back. It's just a stupid decision.
I agree with that. At that moment, that was a wrong call. I stick with
but that's what your coach does. He doesn't have the balls to make the decisions that are unfavorable if they go the wrong way. He needs to make the safe play every time.
But last season he did have the balls. Do you remember?
Yes, last season he did because he was playing for nothing. This year they put in his head that this fucking team on paper is a winner. Why? I don't know. He's playing scared.
I agree with you. I think he lost his edge when it came to that. I think when it came to the 4th and 1 at that point in the game, yes. I think people who are trying to kill him on the kicking the field goal late in that game at 24 seconds left in the game, I don't disagree with it. I think it's a good play.
No, kicking the field goal was fine there, but then what are you doing in the overtime? What the fuck was that?
Well, so that was my thing too with the overtime was if you know you're just gonna run the ball and count on your defense to make a play, why did you get the ball first?
Yeah.
Why did you win the coin toss and then say we're going to receive it? Just give it away. Give your defense a shot. And then at that point, even if let's say, because in order to win the game at that point, you need a touchdown. Even if you were to settle for a field goal, you can't win the game. So you need a touchdown to win, which you weren't going to get. So why take the ball first? You should have gave the ball to the Jets, get a stop. And at that point, let's say maybe you get a turnover, maybe you get a decent return on the punt, which we weren't really seeing that. Maybe you put the ball at Saquon, he breaks one loose when you get the ball at that point. Maybe the game is different over time. I don't get why they received. I think they should have deferred. They should have gave it to the Jets. I think that was a bad call too. And listen, you can sit here all day and blame Brian Daboll, but I'm still on the mindset where he's still our coach. People are asking him to be fired already. I'm not going through a coach again.
I'm not saying he should be fired, but grow a sack. It's everybody's sitting there. Like me as a Jet fan, I'm sitting there like, this fucking idiot's not going to run the ball 1 yard. Like
at that point, I agree with you. At that point, yes, I agree with you. You should have ran the ball.
I think that the more damning thing right here is the Giants special teams coach. The game is over. It's done with. And yesterday, he's still talking about it. That's a problem.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's the first.
We chapped their ass big time.
The second thing is that Graham Gano went on season-ending IRR today, so he was injured during that game, and they still trotted him out there like, "Kick that field goal, boy."
Well, that's the weird thing. So he wasn't the injury report, but then he was one saying that he was fine, and the trainer didn't.
Every player says he's fine. Tua said he was fine too, and then he's sitting on the floor throwing up fucking gang signs. It's your job as the coach and the medical staff to determine that even though the player says he's fine, he's not fine. All right.
Now, to be honest, dude, I think we both know.
No, When you're fined, there's no D in fined. Okay,
We both know it was an extracurricular injury, dude. We saw the videotape of what happened in the locker room. A man got hurt. Somebody stomped the shit out of him after the game. At least according to the TikTok I watched.
So accordingly, I think there's an issue going on with the training staff and the coaching staff, because I feel like Daniel Jones apparently was cleared for contact that morning of the game, but Brian Dable didn't find out until after the game.
I'm going to tell you right now, the Giants did what the Bears did last year, and they didn't want to put him in a situation to get mollywopped by the Jets. The Bears did that with Fields last year. Yeah. He was cleared to play before the game. They elected not to play him. Instead played, I want to say they played Trevor Siemian. And Trevor Siemian took the beating that Justin Fields should have gotten.
That deserved.
And
deserved
Tommy
that
DeVito and unfortunately Jackson. What's Jackson's first name? I'm losing it. The quarterback whose ribs you broke.
Oh, Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod
Taylor. My bad. Did I say Jackson? I meant Taylor. You know what? I don't know. I was thinking Lamar Jackson for some reason. Tyrod Taylor and Tommy DeVito took the beating that Daniel Jones should have gotten.
So, real quick, I want to shout out my son because I got my son.
This is not me being a homer. I'm letting you know right now. If Daniel Jones plays that game, he pulls a fucking Jamal White. Jamal White, is that right? Not Jamal White. What the hell's
you're wrong with names all day today, so who knows?
I'm struggling, bro. Jamal Adams. He pulls a Jamal Adams, comes back from the injured list, and immediately goes back on the injured list. If he plays that game. Yeah. That's what happens in that instance if he plays. And the Giants coaches made the right call and sat him down because it just wasn't worth it to put him out there to lose and get his ass beat in the same day.
So
you know what though, the Jets won that game, and I feel like it's better the Jets did win, because I think even if the Giants won the game at 3-5, they still don't have a shot at the playoffs. At least the Jets now actually have a chance to make it into the playoffs.
Here's that video TJ was talking about with regard to the ramifications for Graham Gano after losing. It's everybody in the Giants beating the shit out of Graham Gano with his broken leg.
So I made my son watch that game with me. Shout out to my son Alex. We watched that with my pops, my dad, and we watched that game, and it was just I had to make my son leave the room multiple times because it was just a tirade of fucking anger and alcohol-fueled rage and cursing, because there was so much bad play in that game to cap off what seemed like a never-ending list of fucking injuries. Whereas if I'm the Maras, I have a bulldozer outside the stadium as people are filtering out, ready to rip that field up and telling everybody we're going to paint lines on a fucking slab of dirt, and that's what we're going to play on, because this shitty field does nothing but hurt absolutely everybody. There he is, Alex. What's up, pal? How is a franchise and how is a team owner can you fucking you have the ability to get rid of that field and you just don't want to do it. You don't want to admit that you wasted $50 million on a dumpster fire field.
Twice.
How many fucking people are going to get hurt? And where is the NFL Players Association to sit there and you want to talk about stats? You want to talk about stats? Why don't you look up the stats and how many people get fucking hurt in Giant Stadium? And it just goes unanswered.
6 people got injured before the half. Now all of them were not related to the field. Tyrod Taylor, for instance, got mollywopped, and that has nothing to do with field conditions and everything to do with being smaller than the human being that fell on top of you. But I mean, 2 Jets offensive linemen got injured. I want to say a Giants defensive lineman got injured. A Jets defensive lineman got injured.
They're all lower body injuries. Yeah. Why? It's because when the field doesn't give and no dirt can slip out from underneath your cleat and give you that little bit of alleviation to the impact of a hit, the only thing that's there to give is your body. And guess what? Tendons can snap pretty damn easily, especially when you're as athletic as these guys and you got that shit stretched super thin, because that's what happens. The more you use tendons and the more you strengthen the muscles around them, the tendons stretch and they get thinner and it becomes easier to fucking break. Why do you think in baseball everybody's saying these pitchers need to stop working out? Because it doesn't help them throw the ball harder. All it does is help them get injured faster. But I digress.
Darren Waller re-injured his hamstring, which has always been an issue for him. And obviously, coming to MetLife was probably a bad choice.
Yeah, it's not what you want to do.
saw what was going on in that game, was like, fuck this, I'm not playing in this. To lose,
They said he's out for weeks. They're like, it's weeks. Like, it's not like he's don't even.
I'll be honest with you. If I saw what was going down and what time it was, I'd be like, yeah, my hamstring hurts, man. And I wouldn't play for weeks either. I mean, at this point, what's he playing for?
The big thing, right. My big takeaway away from this game for the Jets is that everybody's sitting there on Twitter, and I was getting pissed at Zach Wilson a little bit, and I was getting, but then
little bit,
after,
TJ, come on, man.
After I pulled back and took a second to think about it.
A little bit.
Listen. Missing what's his name, fucking wide open 8 yards out, and he threw the ball at his ankles. Right? That was unforgivable.
You're a little out of line yourself, okay?
Unforgivable. However, after watching him dismantle the Giants as they play prevent defense, I sat there and told you guys, I was like, it's amazing what happens when you can actually get a wide receiver open for this fucking kid, and he makes 2 perfect throws that essentially get them to the position to win the game. And again, this fucking moron offensive coach that we have can never design a play to get anybody open. Yet I'm sitting there watching Tyreek Hill get fucking wide open for every one of the touchdowns he scored in Miami this week. It's amazing what happens when you see wide receivers get open. And you can't sit there and say, oh, they're good wide receivers, they're always going to get open. That's not true. If you watch other teams and when they design plays and crisscross a cornerback or get somebody to both bite the corner and safety and open up a receiver down the middle or down the sideline, that's by design. And the Jets do not have that with what's his name, Hackett. They just don't. The guy went to Denver and put up a goose egg and probably set that franchise back 15 years. Okay, and then we bring him in here because like, oh well, it's gonna fit with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, well, it doesn't fit with Zach Wilson. You can't get anybody open. Every throw to somebody on the team is if it's not a check down, it's always some back shoulder. Holy shit! I can't believe Wilson just caught that type of play.
I will say this: as much as you can sit there and be disgruntled with Nathaniel Hackett for the play call or whatever it is, we have seen a marked improvement with Zach Wilson, and you have to also give credit to Nathaniel Hackett for that, making his offensive scheme simpler so that this young man can learn how to play quarterback in the NFL. Because we don't know,
but see, I don't think so.
Offense, but you don't know, and neither do I.
I do know. You want to know how I know? Is because everybody bitching about Zach Wilson holding on. Zach Wilson holding on to the ball for too long is him looking fucking downfield the whole time trying to make a play. That's why he's taking those sacks. He's looking to make a play because at this point, every one of his looks in the first 5 seconds is completely covered. And he can't throw the ball.
That Zach Wilson is now focusing more downfield than he had in years past. Absolutely. We agree that he's climbing the pocket better.
Yes, but that's just developing as a player getting older.
The offensive coordinator showing up. We can't.
I don't think so. No, I think it's just, dude, because it's anybody. Anybody's going to develop the longer they play the game. Look at fucking Geno Smith. You're going to tell me that Geno Smith had nobody to show him the ropes in 4 years with the Jets? Bullshit. And then he comes in with the Giants and then sucked the big one.
I mean, the Giants, the big one when he was with the Giants.
Even just saying, dude, you develop as a player, you figure shit out, whether it's by sitting on the sidelines or learning from other players. I think the biggest thing that's helping Zach Wilson is having fucking Aaron Rodgers sitting there on the sidelines and talking to him.
So my question is, so if Aaron Rodgers is playing, you think this offense is just as stymied as it is with Zach Wilson?
I think if Aaron Rodgers isn't playing, it's a more consistent offense, but I think we still have the same problems. If wide receivers aren't open and Aaron Rodgers doesn't have 6 seconds in the pocket to throw the ball, we're not offensively running on all cylinders.
I would say this the offensive line not blocking is a problem, but I would not say that. I think if Aaron Rodgers wanted this guy to be his offensive coordinator, if Aaron Rodgers wanted this guy to be his offensive coordinator, then he does what Aaron Rodgers likes. I'm pretty sure him as the offensive coordinator won Aaron Rodgers 2 MVPs.
So how do you know that he doesn't want him here because Aaron Rodgers can just like, nah, balls to your chin. I do what I want, bitch.
That's great. Then that's fine too. Then why? Then let Aaron Rodgers call the plays.
But I also feel like Aaron Rodgers makes throws that Zach Wilson can't make.
He has looks. He creates defensive schemes that Zach Wilson doesn't warrant, like simple things like offense, like roughing the passer penalties. He creates things that Zach Wilson doesn't deserve, like roughing the passer penalties.
And what frustrates me with Zach when you watch Zach Wilson is if he's getting rushed, there's never there's times when you got to just be like, oh, I just gotta go down. Like I will going backwards on plays like that. is never like a positive thing. Like even
He
because
doesn't
even
do
if he
that as
goes,
much anymore.
he doesn't do it as much. But that was like sometimes he does.
Speaking
He
about
do it
positives.
every now and then he comes.
And I'm
he'll come-
positive we got to get going. Thanks
he
for
comes-
visiting. We'll catch you next week. Have a
Giant
good
suck.
one.